Odessa is this really unique suburban area outside of Tampa, and people choose it for all kinds of reasons. But I want to talk about a specific client I'm working with right now and why they chose Odessa and why you might choose it as well. Here we go. Thanks for coming by the Living in Tampa channel, where we make videos about what it's like to live and move and relocate and invest and all these things in Tampa. If you're interested in that kind of thing, don't forget to subscribe down below. We're also a team of realtors, so if you have any real estate specific needs, we would love to help you anytime. We'd love to hear from you and help you kind of map out a timeline, help you think through the market, all those kind of things. You can call, text, or email us anytime. We would love to hear from you. Okay, Odessa. I really like this area. Odessa, Keystone, it kind of has a few different names and is in two different counties. Let's dig into it. Where is it? So when we look at Odessa, when you look it up on Google, it's gonna show this little section in Pasco County, just along Highway 54. And this area seems pretty small, pretty inconsequential. But when you look at all of the zip codes that include Odessa, this zip code in this county actually goes down into Hillsborough County and includes all of what is known as Keystone. Keystone goes all the way down to West Chase. This is actually a pretty big area. And although it's big, it's kind of scarcely populated. There's some big neighborhoods, but there's also a lot of land. There is some new development going on there as well, as you see from some of these drone shots. That's getting some pushback from the people that have lived in these areas that have a lot more open space and are still close to the city. They don't want that feel to go away. So let's look just in Hillsborough County for now. Keystone, this area, there is one big neighborhood here called the Eagles that runs up from West Chase up into this Odessa area. And all of this is technically in Odessa. And then a lot of other places that are kind of scattered throughout. Some that feel like little pocket neighborhoods, but others that just feel like, people have owned that land for a long time and lived there for a long time. When you go up into Pasco County though, it feels like mostly new development with Starkey Ranch, Astoria, Bexley, and then all kinds of new development along Highway 54. Some of these neighborhoods have been fully built out, and Starkey is kind of finishing their final phase right now. I was actually at Starkey Ranch with some clients over the past week. We looked at places kind of all over the Tampa area, and they had kind of three main criteria. They wanted it to be new or new-ish. They wanted good schools, like really good schools. And then they wanted a really easy commute to downtown because Kristen is likely going to be working downtown. These three factors drove what Garrett and Kristen were looking for. And these are actually pretty common factors. So after looking in Carrollwood and West Chase, even over in New Tampa, I decided to show them a place in Odessa, in Starkey Ranch, and they loved it. So for most of this time, we were actually looking in like the 600 to 700 price range. But even after we spent that day looking together, they realized they can't quite afford that right now because of what has happened with interest rates recently. We decided to come down to like the 500 to 550 range. And if they can get an interest rate of about 6.5%, then they feel comfortable with that payment. And the good news is there's a lot of options in both of those price ranges, from 500, even 450, all the way up to 700, 800. There's a lot of options in this Odessa area. So that satisfies the new-ish. They could build a house or they could buy something that just was built a few years ago. Good schools, their next factor. So if they're in the Hillsborough side of Odessa, then they have really good schools. They can likely go to Steinbrenner High, Martinez, and McKittrick, that little cluster of schools that's well known in the Lutz area. If they're on the Pasco side, there's a new elementary school, brand new, so no reviews. Who knows how good it is? I have no idea. And then their kids would go to River Ridge High School, which is up in Newport Richey, kind of way up here. And they'll likely be building more schools, but that just takes so much time. So they felt like the schools were good enough, that maybe they're really good or maybe they're good enough. And that kind of satisfied that good schools bucket. Next criteria for them was the easy commute to downtown. So if they're up here along Highway 54 or if they're over kind of in Lutz, kind of along this stretch, I'm thinking about how far they are from this toll road 589 that goes down into Tampa. Now, who wants to spend money on a toll road every day for work? But if you want the drive to feel more comfortable and not just be like kind of stop and go, like local road kind of a feel, this is a really easy way to do that. So being closer to that toll road just cuts down so much time for Kristen's commute. That is how we ended up in Odessa. These three things: new or newish, good enough schools, and then an easy commute, a comfortable commute, even if it is 30 minutes, but that is an easy drive. And maybe you have the exact same criteria. But I want to talk real quick about how we would even approach an offer. So they have a house to sell in Memphis, in Arlington, right outside of Memphis, really good school district area in the Memphis, like greater metro area. So their house is listed already. They had a couple open houses the first weekend. They've got some good interest. So if they wanted to go ahead and make an offer on a house, this is how we would approach it. First of all, we do the very typical, 10-day inspection. I'm not gonna make that any shorter. And then we'd have a typical appraisal contingency, a financing contingency, where the lender can say, hey, this is a little too much for you, and cancel the deal for us. Another contingency that we would have in there is a sale contingency. So we would make the contract for their purchase contingent on their other house selling. And we would share all that information. We'd show them the contract. We'd let them connect with the agent up there in Memphis and make sure all of that is very understood. But we would make this new purchase contingent on their sale because they need the profit from that sale to put as their down payment on this one. And then another thing we would do. Now, builders have some incentives for this, but also if you're buying privately, you can ask for this kind of thing where the seller contributes to a rate buy down. So what that would mean is the seller takes some of their proceeds and that doesn't ever touch their pocket. It goes straight to the mortgage company and helps you get a little bit lower interest rate. Now, of course, there's going to be opportunities to refinance later, but these buy down tools, whether it's a temporary buy down, like a 3-2-1 buy down, or it's like a permanent buy down, it would just help soften the blow of the higher interest rates right now. And of course, people could make the argument that interest rates are not historically high right now, and we're just reacting because they were historically low during the pandemic, and some of that is true, but rates have never been this high with home prices this high, so monthly payments are a little absurd when you look at what people can actually afford. So Odessa might be right for you, or it might be something else. And this is really what we specialize in, is hearing your, main factors. Maybe it's those 3, or maybe it's 10 factors that are big deals to you. And we can kind of understand the area well enough to where we can pick and choose these pieces and help you narrow your focus. So if you're thinking about moving to the Tampa area, we would love to hear from you. We would love to get on a Zoom call with you and hear exactly your motivations for moving and what you're looking for and how we can help you. So feel free to give us a call anytime. Thanks for coming by.